Morning, everyone. August 5th, 2020. Shakespeare Sonnet 135. 135 and 136 are a pair, and he goes from love poems to sexual puns. So, Patterson writes 3 to 4 pages of hilarity on this, on 135. There's on some of the other online resources take a little bit less comical approach, but are still not. They do their best to be very, how shall one put it, scholastic in their approach to these comically terrible, pun-filled sonnets. So, the Patterson, I have to quote him for a few things. First, his very first sentence on it. Woman goes into a bar and asks for a double entendre. Get it? So he continues to say, remember, there are no movies, there's no internet, there's nothing like that. What you're looking at is a population looking for entertainment that went to bear baiting, hangings, theater productions. That was basically all you had. Tavern performances by troubadours, minstrels, etc., etc. I have to quote this, so here's a sentence in the middle of this first paragraph. The next two poems play in a multiple way on the word will, and would indeed be brilliant but for one thing, the poems themselves. So the consensus is that there are 7 different possible meanings, depending on the sentence they're used in, for the word will. The first being simply desired, or something you do desire, sexual lust. Determination or resolve, which is a typical one we know. The modal verb expressing the future tense. The name William, slang for the vagina, slang for the penis. That's right from the Patterson book. Then he goes on to sort of hash out each line by line. And there's another resource that I quite like, that discusses a previous poem by someone named Nicholas Breton, published in the Melancholic Humors in 1600. And I'm going to read this really quick. Children awes and woman owes, does a wondrous grief disclose, where a duga with one will still, and t'other but a will. Let the child then suckle his fill, let the woman have her will. All will hush was heard before, awe and oh will cry no more. And the duga is a breast or a nipple, is what that means. And it is about woman's libido is satisfied and she receives a good rogering. We all know what that kind of means. So, and they concur that, the 7 possible meanings for the term, and go on to talk about some of the italicized readings of the name will in this. Every time in the original 1609 quattro I'm looking at right here, the name will is, the word will is italicized every time it's used, and it's used a lot when you hear the poem. So that's a lot of preamble for this, but it is quite an interesting poem. It is a bawdy pun sonnet, B-A-W-D-Y. So I'm going to try to read it with a little bit of that bawdiness. Maybe it's good. This is sometimes shirtless Shakespeare. Here we go. Whoever hath her wish, thou hast thy will, and will to boot in will in overplus. More than enough am I that vex thee still, into thy sweet will making addition thus. Wilt thou, whose will is large and spacious, not once vouchsafe to hide my will in thine? Shall will in others seem right gracious, and in my will no fair acceptance shine? The sea, all water, yet receives rain still, and in an abundance addeth to this store. So thou, being rich in will, adding to thy will, one will of mine to make thy large will more. Let no unkind, no fair beseechers kill. Think all but one, in me, in that one will. Thank you very much.